Today we're going to talk about how the Apple AirPod Pro 2s compare to the Powerbeats Pro 2. It's not how I thought this was going to turn out. Hey everyone, I'm Cole Caparoon. Thank you for stopping by for another video. Now, what I want to do in this video is talk about the sonic differences, the functionality differences, the fitment differences, and which one you might want to choose depending on what you're looking for out of an earbud. And then we're also going to talk about how they compare to my favorite over-the-ear headphones and some other over-the-ear headphones. I kind of can't believe I'm making a video on a Beats product because historically I have always hated the way they sounded. I would refuse to use any Beats product because they were always way too hyped in the top end and the low end. They always had this dirty, saturated sound. They were just not ever something that I would ever use. A little background on me, I'm a mix engineer here in Nashville, Tennessee, so I mix music all day long. Audio is literally my life. But I've ended up choosing one of these, and it's not the ones that I thought I would choose. So let's just jump right into it. This is my second pair of AirPod Pro 2 or AirPod Pros. I had the number ones. I had the first version for, man, probably 3 years, and I've had these for going on 6 months now. Now, the AirPod Pro 2s are definitely a good earbud. They have fantastic noise cancellation. The transparency mode is fantastic. They don't fit that great in my ears personally, and we're going to get on to that here, more about that in a minute. But their sound, I would call them a fairly neutral sounding earbud. They don't have a ton of bass, they don't have a ton of top end. They're not particularly exciting to listen to, but they're also not particularly dull and boring sounding. They're just a very general neutral sounding earbud in my opinion. Now, Apple claims that the battery life on the AirPod Pro 2 is up to 6 hours of listening on a single charge, 5.5 hours if you're listening to spatial audio, or up to 4 hours of lossless audio listening. Now, the case is capable of keeping them charged up to 30 hours of listening time, or 24 hours of talk time, and 5 minutes in the case provides up to 1 hour of listening. So the battery life is one of the first things I had a little bit of an issue with these. They're not bad, but it was not uncommon for these to die on me. If I'm like listening for a long time, like when I was doing construction on the studio, I had these in for the whole day, and I would have to stop in about 3.5, 4 hours to have them charged. I would also use these when mowing grass as a noise cancellation mode. I use these in the gym to listen to podcasts on, to talk on the phone. Like they were just always with me. And so I have a ton of time on these. Where it kind of got interesting is going to the gym, they started just falling out of my ears. I started getting really annoyed with how they would just fall out of my ears all the time. Like in between every set, I would have to push them back in my ear. And it just started to get annoying. So I thought I'd look for something different. Now, there's a few things that I'm looking for out of an earbud, especially a new earbud that could potentially replace my AirPod Pros 2. One, they had to stay in my ears way better. That was like the most important thing to me. The second most important thing to me is that I wanted a longer battery life. The third most important thing to me is, as a music mixer, I had to enjoy the way that they sounded. I didn't care if they were particularly clinical sounding or accurate sounding, but I had to enjoy it. And then the next thing is I mix in Atmos for spatial audio, and so they had to support spatial audio. But that means there is only one other option, and that is the Powerbeats Pro 2. Now, functionally, I like these a whole lot better, because boy, do they just fit on your ear so much better, and I don't even have to keep tucking them in. They just fit great. In addition to that, there are 4 sizes. There's an extra large size of ear tips for the Powerbeats Pro 2, and the Apple AirPod Pro 2 only go up to a large. They are one size smaller. And so these, not only do they seal really well, but they fit much, much better, and they stay in my ears perfectly no matter what I'm doing. So let's talk pros and cons about the way they sound, their functionality, and everything else. Now, the first thing that you might realize is that they are significantly larger in size. The case is a lot larger than the Apple AirPod Pro 2s. It is more difficult to carry them around in my pocket. I didn't often carry these in my pocket. They usually went in my backpack that I carry with me everywhere. So it's not that big of a deal for me, but if you're the kind of person that carries them in your pocket, these are definitely a larger, more cumbersome thing to try to keep in your pocket. Now, the next thing that is pretty significantly different between them, other than the way that they fit, is that the Powerbeats Pro 2 has 10 hours of battery life. So that is more than double the battery life of the AirPod Pro 2s. Now, however, when you use the case to charge them, it's still only 35 hours as compared to 30 hours. So overall listening time, when you're casually using them for an hour or two here and there at the gym, on walks, on hikes, in the car, whatever, they kind of even out. However, the fact that you can listen for 10 hours straight, that's a huge win to me personally. They both have wireless charging right on the case, which is great because I just toss them up on my nightstand on my wireless charger and it'll charge either one of them. However, they both make noises. The last version of the AirPod Pros, the original version, made no noise when I charged them. Now, I'm sure there's a way to turn it off. I haven't looked for that yet, but I am not a fan of the fact that this case makes noises. And the Beats case is kind of worse. Again, I haven't really played around with it to see if there's a way to turn it off, and I probably should. But when it's fully charged, it will ding at you like every 45 seconds until you take it off the charger. It's done that a couple times to me. It doesn't do it every time, but it does do it from time to time. So that's kind of odd. Now let's get into the noise cancellation and the transparency mode. The AirPod Pro 2s have a fantastic noise cancellation and a fantastic transparency mode. Now they are nowhere near as good as the AirPod Maxes. These are the best transparency mode and the best noise cancellation I've ever used in any headphone or earbud. And the AirPod Pro 2s are not this, not even close. However, they are very, very good. More than adequate enough for me to mow the grass with these and not be bothered with the lawnmower noise. Or when you click on transparency mode, it is very apparent where things are around you. You can tell you still are listening through a pair of earbuds, unlike the AirPod Maxes, because they feel, in transparency mode, these feel like you literally don't have headphones on. It's crazy. You can definitely tell you're listening to the outside world through earbuds, but it's totally fine. It's not disorienting. It works great. The noise cancellation is fine. I would say it's above average noise cancellation for an earbud, but nothing really to write home about, especially compared to some over-the-ear headphones. Spatial audio in the AirPod Pro 2s is pretty awesome. Again, not quite as awesome as the Apple AirPod Maxes, but very, very good. The Powerbeats Pro 2 is just worse in every one of those categories. Not drastically, but just not quite as good in every one of the categories. The noise cancellation is just not quite as good, although it's close. The transparency mode is definitely less compared to the AirPod Pro 2s, but it's totally adequate. Reaching up and hitting the button and being able to talk to somebody in the gym without taking your earbuds out, it's totally fine. It's not disorienting, but it definitely is another step towards like, oh, I'm really listening through some earbuds here. But I don't want to undersell this. It's totally fine. The noise cancellation is definitely worse in terms of, lawnmower noise, static noise, airplane noise, background music at the gym. But again, I find it totally fine, and especially for the trade-off of it never falling out of my ear. So this is gonna be a reoccurring theme. The spatial audio on the Powerbeats Pro 2 is pretty decent, but not quite as good as the AirPod Pro 2s. But that leads us to the overall general sound character between the two, because most of you watching, that's probably what you're interested in. Before we get on to the rest of the sound character, I will drop links down below for every headphone and earbud I'm gonna talk about in this video. The AirPods, the Beats, my preferred Focal headphones and the AirPod Maxes. There'll be a link down in the description below. If you use that link to pick up a pair of these, it costs you nothing extra, but it really helps the channel out, helps me keep making videos just like this, and those links go to Sweetwater. I think a lot of people don't know that you can go buy your earbuds from Sweetwater. They have an extremely large selection of earbuds and headphones, and of course every other thing you could possibly want for making music. So anytime you guys need any piece of musical gear, any pair of headphones or any pair of earbuds, you can jump on any one of my videos, click on any one of the links in the description below. Once you're on the site, you can purchase anything you need. It won't cost you anything extra, but it goes a long ways to help support this channel, help me keep making content just like this. So thank you so much, Sweetwater, for sponsoring this video. I hesitated to pick up a Beats product because, like I said, I've never liked the way that they sounded, but after watching some other reviews on launch of these, people had enough decent things to say about them. I'm like, let's give them a try. And I was very, very pleasantly surprised. Now, they are definitely not neutral sounding. They are definitely still hyped sounding. Not so much in the low end. However, the low end, there is more low end on the Beats than there is on the AirPods. But it's not overly hyped low end. The top end is pretty hyped, but I kind of like it. They have attitude. When I'm listening to these, they have character and they have attitude. That does come at the cost of some saturation and distortion that the Beats have been known for forever. However, I think these are a significant improvement. But I will say that they're fun to listen to. For me personally, it's not saturated enough or high-endy enough, crispy enough that it bothers me. It's just enough where they're fun to listen to. Now, the Powerbeats Pro 2 have this, because of the top end being a little bit more hyped, they have this granularity, this texture to them. Think about a bow going across the cello, like the granularness of that bow scraping across the string is just, it's a lot more clear on the Beats as a result of them having a lot more top end and a little bit more saturation. And I can't believe I'm saying this, I really enjoy it. Now, in addition to them sounding significantly different, the controls are also significantly different. The AirPod Pros have these little pressure pads, I'm sure you guys know, but most people have used them, have these little pressure pads that are buttons, and then if you hold the bottom, you can slide up and down to turn your volume up and down. You can double press and triple press to stop and go to the next song, reverse, answer your phone calls, etc. But it's such a tiny, it's such a tiny, tiny little thing, and the button is so tiny, I've always struggled with it. However, on the Powerbeats Pro 2, there is just a nice little rocker switch right up on top, and it's up and down, volume up and down, and I absolutely love this. In addition to that, the main button for all the functions is right on the B here. It's just, you push the button and it's super easy to reach. It's super easy to just go up and tap, double tap, triple tap. The controls on the Powerbeats Pro 2, in my opinion, are significantly better than the controls on the AirPod Pro 2s. Now, they both do a lot of the same stuff. If you pull an earbud out, it automatically pauses whatever you're listening to and turns transparency mode on the other earbud, or turns noise cancellation off at least. They both auto-detect when they're in your ear and they automatically connect to your phone. They both use the head scanning, the head profiling for spatial audio, so you have a significantly better experience listening to spatial audio music. They both have the same H2 chip in them. So which one is the better earbud for you? If you're looking for a super general, neutral sounding earbud, the AirPod Pro definitely wins. It has worse battery life, but it has better noise cancellation, better sonic performance on a technical level because it is more neutral and less saturated. It also has some little features like the hearing tests and other things like that. That's pretty neat. The Powerbeats Pro 2 has a unique thing where it is the first earbud that can measure your heart rate. So if you're working out and you don't have an Apple Watch or any other sort of watch, this will actually track your heart rate right from your ear canal, which is pretty cool. So while I don't actually think the Powerbeats Pro 2 sounds better than the AirPod Pro 2 on a technical level, as a mix engineer, it doesn't sound better. However, it is more fun to listen to. The added saturation doesn't bother me personally. The controls are significantly better, in my opinion. The battery life is significantly better, and the fit of them, they stay in my ears without ever having any issues. I never have to reseat them, and they come with the extra large tip, which is what I need. And these just don't quite seal as good. I don't ever carry them around in my pocket because they're always in my backpack. And so I cannot believe I'm saying this, but my daily driver earbuds, I'm switching to the Powerbeats Pro 2. I'm totally shocked by this. It's not the outcome that I expected. I bought these just kind of gonna test them out. Maybe I'd only use them at the gym, but I like enough things about these better that these are what I'm using from here on out. They come in a bunch of cool colors, the black, the orange, all kinds of stuff. Now you can pick either one of these up from Sweetwater. Again, links in the description below. And at the time of filming this, they are both $250 US. However, occasionally the AirPod Pros do have a sale, and these are brand new. So I'm sure they're not gonna go on sale anytime in the very near future. However, since these do go on sale from time to time, it would not surprise me if the Beats go on sale. But how do these compare to the over-the-ear listening environment? The AirPod Maxes are definitely a better sounding option than either of these. These are not the best sounding headphones that I've ever used, but they by far have the best noise cancellation. They by far have the best transparency mode of any headphone that I've ever used, and they sound pretty good, and the controls are great, and the construction is great. So these are a great option. I absolutely despise the case, but they're a very good option, and they're the best for consuming spatial audio if that's your thing. But my all-time favorite pair of Bluetooth headphones is gonna be the Focal Bathys. And these are just absolutely, hands down, without any question whatsoever, the best Bluetooth headphones I've ever used. They sound absolutely unreal. The noise cancellation isn't quite as good as the AirPod Maxes. However, it is better than either of these earbuds. The transparency mode is probably on par with the Beats. I would say it's not a fantastic transparency mode, but it's totally adequate. And they just sound absolutely unreal. In addition to that, they get a little bougie and they light up, which is pretty neat. You can also run these wired if you would like, and there is an actual button to go back and forth between your noise cancellation and your transparency mode. The Focal Bathys are by far my top pick, and if I'm getting on a plane, these are what I'm taking. These are what I take on trips all the time. However, I don't like to wear over-the-ear headphones when I'm at the gym or when I'm out running around, and I don't particularly love carrying them everywhere. So, earbuds it is. Powerbeats Pro 2 is what I'm using from here on out. I hope you found this video informative. And don't forget links in the description down below. Subscribe if you haven't yet. If you made it this far in the video and you haven't subscribed yet, I feel like I've earned your subscription. So hit that subscribe tab, give me a thumbs up, drop me a comment, let me know your thoughts on what your favorite headphones and earbuds are, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.